Happy New Year, everybody, and my So Fun family. Today we're going to go ahead and make this cute little pouch for your scissors, your turner, your seam ripper. It is a simple project, takes less than an hour. If you have some scraps, this would make a great scrap buster. If it's a solid fabric and you have an embroidery machine, go ahead and make some embroidery designs on the back. I've made two different ones. I did different colors. They're just super easy to make. I did create this pattern myself with 2 sheets of paper, and if you want a copy of this, I will send you a PDF so you can cut it out and start making your own. No charge. Just go ahead and private message me on Facebook at So Fun. Look forward to seeing your projects. Don't forget to post. So the supplies you're going to need to make this cute scissor pouch is a marking tool or some chalk, your ruler, a cutter or pair of scissors, SF 101, some cotton, batting, and a snap or magnetic closure or Velcro, whichever you prefer. Once you've cut out the pattern, go ahead and iron your interfacing on the wrong side of your fabric. And go ahead and iron the second piece of your cotton, and let's get the wrinkles out. Take the side that you ironed your pellon on or your interfacing and lay your batting right on top. And go ahead and line it up. And let's take our marker and our ruler or chalk, whichever you have, and let's go ahead and mark it across. And cut that triangle off. It's a little crooked, but you're okay. Don't worry about it. You won't even notice it. So your next step is going to be put your right sides of your fabric together. So right sides together, and lay your batting on top, and let's clip it in place. You are going to sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around, leaving an opening at the bottom to turn. You're going to do this at a 1/4 inch with a 3 stitch length. Okay, so now that we have it sewn all the way around, go ahead and snip your corners so when you turn it, it has a nice round to it and it's not stressed or pulling. And then we're going to go ahead and snip our corners here. When you're snipping those corners, make sure you do not get too close to your stitch. And if you have a turning tool, this would be a great time to go ahead and get it, because you're going to need to poke your corners. I'm using a chopstick. Just don't use something too sharp where your corners are going to poke out and poke through, and then you'll end up having to turn it right back through and resew it. Once you have this all turned, and you have a nice corner or a rounded top, take it to the iron and go ahead and press it. As you can see, we have a nice press on it right now, and I did press the opening. We're going to do a top stitch along the bottom of this to close up that opening. We're going to do it at a 3.5 stitch length and a 1/8 seam allowance. What you can do here is just pull that bobbin thread and pull the top thread through and then burn the ends, which is what I'm going to do now. And you can tie it so this way it won't come out anymore. And you can triple knot it. It just gives it a nice clean finish. Like that. So let's add our first snap. Pick which side you're doing your outside. And let's fold that top part in half so we can find our center point. And I did about a 1/2 inch up. And I'm using the plastic cam snaps. Put your snap in there, put your female end or your male end. Let me use my female end, and it came with a really great tool. So you just put it in there, give it a good squeeze, and then that is it. It is absolutely simple and just adorable. Okay, so now that we have our top snap in, we're going to go ahead and take that corner and fold it over so it looks just like a long triangle. Take it over to your iron and give it a good crease. So we have that nice pressed crease here. We are just going to take it over to our sewing machine and start here and go all the way up. Remember to the back stitch at the top and at the bottom. Okay, so now that we've sewn it here, and we back stitched at the beginning and back stitched at the end, let's try our scissors to make sure it fits nicely, and they do. Our next step is going to be fold this over and give it a nice press, and then we are going to fold that and give it fold this over and give it a nice press. So this project will hold a pair of scissors, maybe a poking tool, and maybe a seam ripper or whatever you decide you want to put in there. Now that we have it pressed here and here, so I folded it over and I gave it a good press here, and then I folded it back this way and gave it a good press here. Let's go ahead and add our second snap before we sew it all up. So I am thinking that based on my scissors, I think I might want to put it right there. So if I'm holding an extra large pair of scissors, it gives it room up top. So let's go ahead and do the same process that we did with this to the second snap. Okay, so I changed my mind. I'm not putting my snap there. I'm actually going to put it on the second pocket, and I put the smooth piece on the back and the male piece on top using my handy dandy tool. Give it a good press, and then let's try it. And it closes and opens nicely. I'm really happy with that. So now let's finish putting it together. We're gonna open it up, and we are gonna sew right along that top stitch to close that first pouch. And then we're gonna fold it over and sew right here on the edge. So take it over to the machine and let's do that now. Okay, so I went ahead and sewed on my original top stitch, and I did a 3 stitch length just right over it, so it looks really nice. And the last step is to fold the edges together and do a nice 3.5 top stitch at a 1/8 seam allowance right along this edge. So let's take it over to the machine and do that now. Okay, so I went ahead and did our seam here, and I'm gonna light the ends so they don't fray or pull through and burn them. It just gives it such a nice finish. And let's put our scissors in. And let's put our chopstick in, and let's put our seam ripper in. Well, let's close it first. Let's put our seam ripper in. And there you go. Hey, thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe if you're not already subscribed to my channel, and give me a thumbs up and comment below. I really appreciate it, and happy 2022, and let's get sewing.